All right. Hello, world. How are we today? Today is actually New Year's Day, 1st of January. And I know it's been a minute. Hang on. It has been a minute since I have made a video and uploaded a new video. I have not had Bubby yet. She is coming in the next few weeks. And anyway, how are we? How has Christmas been? How has New Year's been? I hope everybody is healthy, happy, safe, doing good, making good choices. Yeah, so look, I'm just going to do a short video today, talking a bit about, I guess kind of some similar topics to what we have spoken about before. But my partner and I, we're very similar, and we talk a lot about different topics that, not just to do with politics of the world and all this sort of stuff, but also, more spiritual or religious beliefs, or understandings or interpretations, however you want to call it. And, over the Christmas period, we try to also, it's not just about the kids getting presents and, having fancy lunches and things looking all nice and whatever. It's obviously there are, for us, other meanings of it, and so it just kind of gets you to reflect a bit on some stuff. And we were just sort of talking a bit about how it's sort of a little bit seems like, and this is going to sound a bit like conspiratorial. And no, I'm not trying to spread any, false narratives or misinformation or anything like that, okay? This is just some thoughts that we have, that we've pondered about. Is it possible, is it plausible to think that maybe the governments around the world, people in charge are playing sort of a chess game? They're playing a chess game with each other, but they're also on an individual country level playing a chess game with its people, with each different country, and so each different country is playing their own game, but then there's like a bigger chess game that's like, all the countries in the world, all the leaders of the world. And just like, I don't know, there's a lot of things that when you think about, just sort of it can be frustrating to think about and stuff as well, like how is it that there can be homeless issues and housing crisis issues and not enough help for a country's own people, and yet that same country can send millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, to help with, for example, a war in Ukraine. Like, why, what, like, is it that our people here in this country just don't matter as much as the people in Ukraine? Would Ukraine even be able to send the billions and billions and billions of dollars back to the countries that have sent it over? No. would they help out all the countries that have helped them if war was on those countries' doorsteps? No, probably not. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's obviously agendas going on that is not the main headline of the news story. And, then you've got the aspect of it of, because so much media attention is put on these things, whether it's anti-Semitism, or it's the war in Ukraine, or it's the war with Israel, or it's, other beef going on around the world, or it's, something controversial that a politician says, or like Trump says, or or it's got something to do with the LGBTQ blah blah community. There's just, it just seems like they're constantly pushing dramas into like the forefront of our minds as well, in every way that they can, through social media, through YouTube, through news programs on TV, just any way that they can, even through Parliament time, like when they're having their discussions on the topics that they're talking about. I mean, not too long ago, if you recall as well, it was all about, Congress in America, looking into what's really going on with aliens and spacecrafts, and we're going to have disclosure, we're going to be sharing documents and all this sort of stuff with the people, and then it just sort of dies off in the background, and then there's going to be inquests into vaccines, and there's going to be, do you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many different huge topics constantly, like, in your face. And, my partner and I are talking about this, and, what does that do, right? Like, really the very basic answer of what that does is keeps you mentally occupied, keeps you busy, keeps you, like they say in the conspiracy world, keeps you busy, too busy to look around you and appreciate the divine nature that you find yourself in, too busy to connect with God, too busy to even have meaningful connections with your loved ones, because we've gone as well from just having, I don't know if this is like something that they said all around the world, or if it's just like a saying from Australia, but like they used to, like the last, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe more years, they used to always refer to TVs in Australia as the idiot box, right? Like, and it really, I mean, it makes you stupid, you're not learning much from it, it's just entertainment, now we don't just have an idiot box in our lounge room, we've got an idiot box in every single room of the house. Well, we don't, but like a lot of people do. And now you've got an idiot box that you can hold in your hand, scroll through, constantly getting fed that distraction, that, tasty, addictive juice that keeps you coming back, sucking for more. People have become, everyone is become like an addict. The behavior of somebody with their phone is the same as the behaviour of someone who is a drug addict. It is the same. And you will get aggressive if you have to have your phone taken off you for some reason, even if it's for work or whatever. And people will find a way to have secret time on their phone, like even, saying that they've got to go to the toilet or whatever like that, It takes time away from people in relationships. You can both be sitting in the same lounge room, and yet, I see it all the time on YouTube where people are like in a relationship in the lounge room together, but they're both on their phones, separate couches and whatever. Just like they're not together, are they? They're not spending quality time together. They're not connected. And now it's like how you show your connection to somebody, how you maintain a connection to somebody is like sending a message or sending a meme, cute little meme, cute little gif, like it's so impersonal, it's so not real, like it's so what's the word? It's just not like it's technology. You're using technology to have to, it replaces something, doesn't it? And then think about how much time your children see you just looking at a phone, and like that phone is more important than them, and oh no, what I'm doing on my phone is really important, you have to wait, or what I'm watching right now is really important, more important than me putting my phone away and getting down on my hands and knees and playing with you. Like that's a very common message that's sent to children. And no wonder kids are getting onto devices, so early on in life, because they're taught that by their parents and everyone else around them as well. Not just their parents, but everyone. Everywhere a child goes, they see people on their phones and things, and then it's in schools now too, just like flat out screen time. And anyway, so, you've got your idiot box all through your house. You've got your idiot box in your hand. You've even got an idiot box attached to your wrist, because now you've got your smart watches. And it's like, why are they doing that? Why are they so hell-bent on making sure that every second of your life, dear Lord, every second of your life is bombarded with, what they want you drip-fed with, what they want you bombarded with, what they want to instill in your brain and in your children's brains. And, in Australia, we obviously had that thing with, just recently, that, under 16s are banned off of social media. Okay, well, social media isn't the internet. The internet does plenty of, fear-mongering and basically, like, I want to say that, like, the governments and the media in every single country anyway have the ability to, like, propagate the thinking, the thought patterns, the belief systems of its people, don't they? They control what even its people see on the internet in its country. Let alone through apps or social media or whatever like that. So, like, yeah, and I just feel like, there are things going on in the world with our higher ups, that you're not supposed to think about, you're not supposed to know. You're supposed to be distracted. You're supposed to be outraged at what they tell you to be outraged at. You're supposed to believe everything they say. You're supposed to believe that they're the heroes going over to a country and taking over a country for 25 years. You're supposed to believe, that when they genocide innocent people and children in a country, that it's all in, the name of righteousness and justice. And we should be supporting it. It's just crazy. It's really, really crazy to think that, and it's okay as well for them to make decisions that affect, the economy in our countries, that affects your way of living and what you can afford, and what you can get for your children and provide for your children, and affect whether or not you can take your child to the dentist or yourself to the dentist or, fix your car or anything in life, so, I mean, they can shape your reality, and then they can make your life really hard too because of the financial system in our countries and inflation and how much money they're lining their own pockets with, knowing that you're struggling to find a home, or knowing that you're struggling to make ends meet, knowing that you're struggling to get the medical care for yourself and your family that you need. All these things that they know, but they don't have empathy about. They don't care about you. They care about their own profits and their own money and their own chess game that they're playing. And they'll still send millions of dollars to Ukraine. They'll still send money here, there, and everywhere, basically making deals with other countries. It sort of seems a bit like money laundering to me from the outskirts, but, I'm not really sure what's happening there. And yeah, you are just a byproduct. You are just a cog in the wheel that they want to keep turning for their own gain. And it's like there are obviously communities in society that have woken up to all these sort of things and try to talk about it, and are very quickly labelled conspiracy theorists and stuff. But, even when you come from, like, say, not watching conspiracy type channels or whatever, not wanting to get, sucked into rabbit holes and all that sort of stuff, just even being like a Christian woman, I think about stuff like that because I think about what God had intended for his people, his creation, and what it actually is, like the comparison. I don't believe that the way that the world is right now is what God had intended it to be. And, maybe there are resets on Earth every so often to start humanity over from like a Dark Ages type starting point too. Because everything just gets too wrong, it's like when an artist is making a canvas, doing a piece of artwork, do you there very often there comes a time where the artist will put down the brush and put that project away and start with something fresh because they're not happy with how things are turning out on that canvas. And maybe they even destroy it and just start something new. But I don't know if that's a good example or not, but do you know what I mean? You can see from your own life experience times where you screw up a piece of paper and start again. It's the same sort of thing. you know, and yes, we're significant as like a collective, and maybe we are also significant as an individual experience, like an individual soul experiencing this world and learning individual lessons that we then take back to God. Maybe, yes. But we're also insignificant in the way, like, it's like narcissism has just like developed in us like a plague, like a cancer. And we no longer live our lives to serve others, you know, how God wanted for us to behave. You know, everybody has their head shoved up their asses. You know, everybody is looking down their nose. Everybody is comparing and judging and greedy, and you know, there's just gluttony in so many forms everywhere you look. And you know, like, the purity is gone, hasn't it? You know, like, where is the purity? Where is the holiness? Where is the, you know, living your life in connection to God? You know, trying to sort of walk in like Jesus's footsteps. You know what I mean? Like, there's just our connection has gone. And you know, if you want to talk about like, oh, what would Satan's project be on earth? You know, it would be to do that, wouldn't it? You know, ruin or break or encourage the self-destruction of the connection between man and God. And I would say, you know, it's been kind of successful. You know, people put money above God, people put success and power above God, or their connection to, you know. It's actually a really sad situation that we find ourselves in, when you think about it all. And you know, it's like the elites of the world, the powers that be, the people in charge of all our countries, they're really sort of a little bit encouraging that, aren't they? You know, I think they're encouraging conflict, actually. I think they want a certain level of control and cohesion in countries in order to keep the cogs working, to keep things going how they want, because they need slaves to do all the jobs, right? But overall, they don't want you to be connected to God. They don't want you overall to be healthy people that all live long lives. No, they're quite happy for you to die off early as well from cancer and things like that, because you're poisoned through your food and your water and your air. You know, otherwise they've got to pay way more people a pension, or, you know, look after way more people in hospitals or elderly aged care, you know, all that sort of stuff. They don't want that. They don't want that. You know, I mean, anyway, I'm just saying that there's a lot more going on in the world than what you see on the news and what meets the eye initially. And, you know, it's worth having a think about. It's worth having a chat about. You know, I think that everybody should become aware every day of trying to be the best person that they can be. Everybody knows right and wrong. It doesn't matter where you're born, what your religion, what your culture is. You know, everybody should have a connection to something greater than themselves, something better than themselves, something more holy and pure than themselves. Because yes, we are corrupted, and you know what? Some of that is our fault, some of it is not. Some of it is programming from the time you are born to where you are born. And you know, I think it's time that we kind of fight back but from a peaceful individual from the heart center place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that we all need to wake up a bit to what's going on around here. Anyway, I have to go. You all have a good day. And hopefully I can get this video uploaded today. And I will see you all soon in a new video. Bye.